All right, so here we are with episode 2 of Supergirl Month, and I wanted to go from the animated series to the next logical step, in my opinion, which is Fearful Symmetry, which is the episode of Justice League Unlimited, which focuses on Supergirl. And this is probably one of the most important episodes of the show because this episode literally pretty much sets the scale for what we deal with later on in the show. Like, this was the pretty much larger Cadmus storyline, which was the backbone of Justice League Unlimited for a while, and Supergirl pretty much having nightmares about this guy that she unalives and doesn't even know who he is, and she's unright. She's shaken, she's messed up, and she's afraid they're not simple nightmares because she leaves heat vision marks in her ceiling when she wakes up, which is insane, by the way. But Justice League Unlimited was allowed to do a lot more than a lot of superhero shows at the time for whatever reason. And she's very much convinced something's wrong, but other people don't believe her, except for the questioning Green Arrow, which two of one of the best characters of the show, by the way. And they go and investigate the strange things, and they're looking for like mysterious people from Kara's dreams. The investigation goes through some evidence of like the government and the government conspiracy connected to Project Cadmus. They even go talk to Professor Hamilton, which pisses me off so much how grimy Professor Hamilton became because I love Hamilton in Superman the Animated Series. I love him to death. And then Justice League Unlimited comes around and Professor Hamilton is so frustrating. It is so painful how one mistake turned Superman's probably greatest ally in the original series of Superman to what he becomes, which is stealing Kara's DNA. Also, mind you, this episode is a direct reflection of what happened in Legacy because Supergirl gets shot under the Red Sun room and they have to do operation on her to keep her alive. And that's pretty much what happened. So they stole her DNA from that, which is a crazy callback to how they pretty much created Galatea, which, by the way, she is just Power Girl, but you know. And they developed that thing to duplicate the contingency against the Justice League. So Supergirl's clone Galatea, aka Power Girl, was created to like fight the Justice League if anything were to ever happen, like Legacy again. And that confrontation between Supergirl and Galatea is honestly one of the more violent. Like, like grabs her by her hair and swings her down and slams her through the ground, and they're like beating the hell out of each other. And the way Galatea goes out in the episode is already pretty violent, just from like a simulation explosion on her. It's like, damn, bro. Like, she has to like basically confront this version of herself, which is a manufactured weapon. By the so like this episode is so big. Like, this is one of my favorite episodes. Like, if I had to pick like favorite episodes of Limited, Fearful Symmetry is there for like top 10 episodes. I love this episode, but this episode was definitely more of like what's to come because we all know that a better world was pretty much setting this up, and then the legacy was pretty much the reason why a better world and all the other stuff happened. So like it's kind of crazy how we got here because at the time you're just thinking it's a regular story, but when you realize the overall trajectory of the DCAU, this was like one thing from other stuff that happened years prior, and that is something that I think the DCAU did so well compared to so many other things at the time. And one of the things I want to talk about is like what makes someone the real person, and is Galatea simply a copy? Now, theoretically, she is because she is a manufactured clone of Supergirl, but she does have her own emotions, her own thought process, her own things like that, and she is the complete opposite of Supergirl just based off how she was raised. Now, who knows? Being raised to fight the Justice League because they might continuously be a problem is one thing, but we also see Galatea make her own decisions because she can theoretically make her own decisions, and who can really stop her from doing it? And this starts the whole, should the world trust the Justice League? Because the Justice League are powerful, and Starcrossed happened, and Legacy, and things like that. And should the world really trust the Justice League? It's such a fire storyline that starts off what we get is one of the best runs of a superhero cartoon. Justice League Unlimited is top tier for me. I love Justice League Unlimited straight through, and what is it like to be afraid of somebody who don't have superpowers, and what is it like to be, not having powers but being afraid of the people who do, and fearing someone like Supergirl and Superman being, two of the more powerful leaguers. It makes sense for Cadmus's decision, especially Legacy, when Superman pretty much enslaved Earth. I keep bringing up Legacy. I'll do Legacy at some point, but this episode is a direct reflection and a direct, like, result of those episodes. And it is the fact that, like, the best part about the episode is Supergirl, Green Arrow in question. Like, that is a really good trio to put together. And then we see Green Arrow and Supergirl kind of have more of a relationship later. Question and Green Arrow have their whole thing because of Double Date and stuff like that. And Question automatically steals the show. He's automatically a still, like, Jeffrey Combs as the Question is one of the DCAU's best casted, put together characters ever. Like, it is just like so like, Question is, whenever I think like favorite parts of a superhero show, Question is on that list. And the he's singing the song and he like slams the tree pot through the glass. That is still hilarious to me to this day. And the whole, you go through people's trash, I go through everyone's trash. Like, it's just a really good episode from start to finish. And, like, a lot of Questions, crazy conspiracies aren't so crazy. And Question becoming a very important character later starts in this episode. So there's so many things that, like, really begin at this episode, because a few episodes before this we had initiation for the man who has everything, I think kid stuff, and then we get this episode. So this is the episode that really launches the entire season storyline stream straight forward ahead. And this episode is, Kara confronting that idea that someone else could literally be her, and finding out that that is the case is, jeez, man, they are that rough, that rough. And then is really, I would say this episode is more about Supergirl discovering her identity, her memories, and even her existence have become part of more of like this larger political game between the Justice League and Cadmus, which is sad, and you can tell it hurts her. And this is such a well written episode, and Bruce Timm and them are just legends at this point. But they did such a good job of capturing the loss of identity, getting your identity back, maybe even not trusting the government not trusting the heroes, they don't trust each other. There's tensions there. It all starts with this episode. So Fearful Symmetry really launches Justice League Unlimited, in my opinion, and that's really all I gotta say on the episode. If you like this episode, like the video. Even if you don't like Fearful Symmetry, like the video. Comment, how do you guys feel about the episode? Subscribe for more, because I'm always appreciating more subscribers, and I will see y'all on the next one.